everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Dawson's Creek! Season 1, episode 1. It's just called Pilot. This is Rachel's first time.
I had no idea what the show was about. I thought I did. I really thought I did.
Okay, go. So because you have told me specifically that you know stuff.
Yes.
Like you kind of know how the show ends.
Yes.
Okay, we won't talk about it just in case anybody is like watching it for the first time. I super doubt it. But as always with our Gilmore Girls stuff and other like past shows we've watched, please try to keep your spoiler comments to a minimum on the YouTube if you can. And if you do have to say something that's a spoiler, like mark it if you can, because she does read the comments. So, okay. This is so exciting for me.
She's been buzzing. Since we sat down. She's just been nonstop.
Okay, because
I feel you vibrating over here.
Season 1 is like also so weird. It's so weird to me.
This set the tone for sure.
So this is like, let's put it this way in terms of like timeline. This premiered basically 1 year exactly after the short first season of Buffy did.
Okay.
If that helps at all. So it just keep it like in your brain, this show is happening at the same time. Like in this week already, you've then watched something after Angel turned evil in season 2. So Angel turned evil and you're watching this exquisitely plotted TV show. And then at another point in that same week, you watched this.
How many times do you walk the dog? I can't. I don't know where to put it.
I've literally never asked a person ever how much they masturbated.
No. No.
Simply not my business.
No, and then when any weird dude in my class tried to volunteer, I'd be like, I don't want to fucking know that.
No.
Stop it.
Yeah. Who volunteers that kind of information?
Weird boys. Weird boys.
Yeah.
I don't remember anyone specifically doing it, but it just, oh my God. I'm flabbergasted. I'm gobsmacked. I don't know. This is such a weird episode.
Yeah, it's really
so
weird.
much sex.
Yes.
Which, are they doing it because, or are they talking about it because, obviously we start in the beginning with Joey, not wanting to sleep over anymore because she clearly has feelings for Dawson.
Which she is denying.
Girl, denial is
like a river in Egypt.
Yeah, for real. So clearly there are feelings there, hormones and whatnot. Is it trying to have some sort of commentary on the hormones of 15-year-olds?
I think it's a lot of things. One of the things that the show got really criticized for at the beginning is that all of them talk like they're in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're post-grad students.
Yeah. And
I understand that criticism, but that is kind of a hallmark of a Kevin Williamson TV show or script.
Mm-hmm.
Is that everyone is talking several levels above their,
reading level,
grade level. Yeah. Their reading grade level. So I think that's part of it. And also, I mean, jump forward 10 years and it's the exact same story with Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Where it's why are they... There are 2 attempted rapes in episode 1 of Gossip Girl.
Right.
Because Chuck tries to rape Serena.
Yep.
Well, because he's like, I gave you a truffle grilled cheese sandwich. And she's like, and?
Yeah.
And then he tries to do Jenny at the Kiss on the Lips party. So it's I think it's very that, where it's it's just because it was the 90s. And that's kind of where it was still a little bit fresh for teenagers to be talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, also I think it's not that everybody wasn't thinking about sex when we were 15, but also I wasn't talking about it.
No, because you felt so weird about it.
Yeah.
Because then it's all of a sudden you have all of these feelings and then it's just but you're so gangly and weird and you smell bad and you're stressed out and
Well, and the other thing too, which the show does get into in a really gross way, is as girls, if we expressed any kind of interest in sex, we were immediately sluts.
Yep.
So it's that's kind of dicey as well. So on the one hand, I do think it's an interesting way for these female characters to be able to discuss it without that sense of retribution, except they do get retribution in the show.
Yeah, it just, if they were trying to make points about girlhood and, like, the feeling, like, the sexy feelings, whatever, it didn't land.
They weren't.
It was, okay, because it really was just, like, if you put sex, like, the word sex on a baseball bat and then just kept beating me with it, that's what it felt like.
I have to say 2 things about that. The first of which is that season 1 follows the title of this show, where it thinks that this show is about Dawson.
Okay.
And that he is the most interesting character on this show.
Oh, so it's just terrible.
After season 1, they kind of understand that it's like Pacey and Joey and Jen are much more interesting. And so it really evolves into much more of an ensemble. It's much more, like, I get, like, even I would say, like, season 2, end of season 2, and then season 3, and then the rest of the series is about Joey. This is a TV show about Joey.
Okay.
She was really, like, obviously Michelle Williams is the most successful critically, I guess, as an adult. But, like, this was Katie Holmes's TV show.
Right.
For, like, a while.
Yeah, because, I mean, if I had to name anyone who was on this show, I know I would start with Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I think James Vanderbeek would be so low. On who I would name. He probably would be the last one.
Yeah. I think it's just like once they realize that he's the least interesting character, which a lot of shows don't ever realize that. Once they realize it really expands the reach of the show. I don't love this show. I didn't rearrange my college class schedule for this show because of Dawson. It was because of Joey and Pacey and then Jen after that. Like, yeah.
This show is nuts.
So if that is helpful for you going forward to know that, like, season 1 is very about Dawson, but after that, he is like one of 4.
Honestly, he wasn't my main issue with this episode.
Not yet.
I know. But everyone was an issue for me. For this. Everyone was insane. Yeah. Like, this whole situation with Pacey. And
that's the thing too, is like he does not
Tamara.
He does not maintain this level of nonsense.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
This was too much. I'm the best sex you'll never have. He said that with his entire 15-year-old chest to a 40-year-old woman.
She's not 40. She's 35.
That's 35?
She's like 35. Yeah.
I love the millennial experience has not been great.
No.
But I'm really enjoying that I'm 37.
Yeah.
And no one believes me.
Same.
Like, I really, oh my God.
Yeah.
She's 35?
I think so. She does say her age at some point.
Yikers.
Yeah.
Okay. But the fact that he also kept saying and stating that aging women want to sleep with boys on the verge of their manhood? No, we don't. No, we don't. Never. The thought has never crossed my mind.
Okay.
Ever.
For multiple reasons. The first of which is that it's super illegal.
Yeah.
The second of which is that it's super immoral and unethical. The third of which is that they're literal children. I'm not even getting to the point where it's like they would come immediately.
Like, no one would be having a good time.
Nobody.
Like, we already make jokes about, like, dudes coming too quick anyway. If you look at a 15-year-old boy or, like, whip a tit out, he's immediately, like... Yeah. I don't
have it in me to comfort you after you prematurely ejaculate.
No. Ew. Also, we are not mentally unwell in that respect as well.
We are mentally unwell in different ways.
But no, definitely pedophilia, not one of those boxes that we have to check. Just so weird. And he kept insisting that it was a thing, a capital T thing.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
That it was like a widespread issue.
Yeah.
These aging women. First of all, she does look older than she is, but she doesn't look old.
No. He makes it seem like she is like
the crypt keeper.
Yeah, about to turn into dust.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
So weird.
I could understand if they were trying to, with this storyline, just being like, ooh, it's a fantasy. Like, it's so kinky or whatever. And, like, not to kink shame, but, like, I'm gonna shame that kink because...
It's all, okay.
Because that's not appropriate.
Sure. If he weren't 15.
Yeah.
Then sure. If they had put a solid 18 on these kids, even 17, it's, like, depending where, whatever. If they had put a solid age that wasn't 15 on these kids, then it's like, ooh, the older woman. Like, sure. Whatever, yes. Go for the older woman. Why not? She was very flirting with him. Yeah. Which she shouldn't have been doing. Yeah. Knowing that she's about to be the high school's new English teacher. The chances of him being in your class in this small town are high. Creepy. She was actively flirting with him. Gross. Like, also so suggestively deciding to rent a movie about an older woman who seduces a young man. Deliberate. And then she has because that's the thing is, like, I think she is the most to blame in this scenario. Yeah. Because, like, he is coming on very sexually aggressive, but he's 15. He doesn't know any better, And then she has the absolute nerve to be like, I think you misunderstood. And I was like, no, you didn't. No. You did not misunderstand.
Very blatantly.
You, like, may as well have opened another button on your blouse in the middle of that classroom.
Yeah, right?
Unacceptable.
Because if I had a 15-year-old boy coming at me like that, I'd be like, you're a child.
Where's
Get away
your
from me.
mom?
Yeah. Do you have a curfew? Cool. Should probably go home.
You should go home.
Yeah, I in no way would I entertain any asshattery like that.
Definitely not. And again, I think that we are supposed to be at least 2 years older than she is. Like, or like we are 2 years older than she is supposed to be currently right now.
That's weird.
I don't think if I had to be out there dating again, I don't think I'd go younger than 30 at this point.
I know it's hard out here.
For like a partner, like I would just for sex I'd go younger, but for like a partner, younger than 30.
No, well, the ones in, like, the 30-year-olds aren't much better.
Well,
it's all bad. All of it's bad.
I mean, I know that. That's
I'm so bad.
Clinging to that one with everything I've got. I'm not letting that go.
Like a koala.
Yeah, just like a sloth on the tree. We really got hung up on Pacey, but we do have to talk about Joey and Jen. So Jen has arrived in Capeside. She's been there before as a child to visit her Grams, but she hasn't been there in a while. She's from New York, and Grams lives right next door to the Learys. And Dawson is immediately ass over tits for her. Yeah. In a way that, like, because he's so obsessed with Steven Spielberg, there's so much projection going on with him. And I say this as somebody who's seen the entire series multiple times, but it's like, it's as if he scripted it, where he's like, ooh, the cute blonde girl that moved in next to me, it's like a movie. So I, like, have to be into her. Yeah. It's gross. Yeah. And after his conversation with Joey, where she's like, things are different between us. Like, we are older now. We can't just keep acting the same way we've always acted because we're not children anymore. I think he weirdly took it, like, a different way and was like, well, then obviously I'm in love with the girl next door as opposed to you, who I've known my entire life, which is, like, so ridiculous. He's so obtuse. He doesn't understand anything.
Nope. But it acts like he does.
But he acts like he does. The whole thing of it, and, like, okay, I think Steven Spielberg has made many quality films. Excellent films that I rewatch a lot. You know, I like a lot of them. Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies. I think it's fantastic. You cannot turn to a Steven Spielberg movie for every problem life throws at you.
No. He is just a man.
He is just a man. He's a cool man. But also, and watching this also through the lens of 2023, I don't think he's made an interesting movie since Catch Me If You Can. You know? And so I'm just like, this is obviously before, that this show takes place before he made that, before he, like, in my opinion, took a downturn. But I don't know, man. I just like, ugh.
Well, and that he even talks about how Steven Spielberg does not put sex in his movies.
Yeah.
And so clearly we shouldn't be talking about it because it's not in his movies. You're reaching, Your Honor. What are you doing?
It's like he's not reaching, though. He's like keeping his hands and arms inside the vehicle. he's like, I will not be reaching for that. First of all, there's romantic relationships in almost every single Steven Spielberg movie. Mm-hmm. There's just not a sex scene, which is that's different. There are romantic relationships. And the other thing, too, is that for me, it's weirder that this 15-year-old boy doesn't want to talk about sex, but everybody else in his life does. Mm-hmm. That's weirder to me, that he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, even his parents are, like, almost fully on the coffee table when him and Pacey come home from school or work, I guess. The video store does not stick around. Them working there does not stick around.
Oh, yeah. That surprises me.
It's weird. It's like season 1 is really, it's like season 1 of Buffy.
Okay.
Like a lot of stuff doesn't carry. And then you're right. It is so annoying that he is correct about the fact that his mother is sleeping with her co-anchor.
Just because of the way she says her B's.
Back to you, Bob. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I feel so weird. Your love is weird.
Your love is weird. That's such a good episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then Joey, fish and chips on the shoulder. She is really, she's not doing great.
Fish and chips on the shoulder.
She's got a chip on her shoulder.
Oh.
You've seen that Eddie Izzard, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Chip on the fish and chips on the shoulder.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So Joey's got a lot going on. Her older sister Bessie, who is supposed to be in her early 20s.
Oh.
Yeah. She's pregnant. She's pregnant by her black boyfriend, which they make a point about that because apparently Grams is not into it. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned in our watch along, if you want to watch along with us, patreon.com/soimwatching-this-show. I got Rachel to do live reactions for season 1. If it goes well, she'll do them for the further seasons of Dawson's Creek as well.
Yeah.
So apparently Grams is not into, well, Bessie being pregnant out of wedlock is, I think, the top of the list.
Yeah.
But the fact that the boyfriend is black is, like, in there, too. But again, Grams does not remain quite so bigoted. She and Jen kind of, like, soften each other a little. She also, they're fighting about religion because Jen's an atheist, which is like whatever, but she's an atheist like a 15-year-old's an atheist. Mm-hmm. So it's like the only thing that she's just like, I don't believe in God.
It's a personality trait.
Yeah. And they do like kind of soften her, but Grams is really kind of Bible thumpy for season 1 in a kind of a gross way. It's not my favorite. Yeah. So Gramps is sick. I don't think he even ever has a word of dialogue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Poor guy.
Yeah. So he's sick, and that's why she claims that she's here. Mm-hmm. But then Grams had made a comment about, I know what happened in New York.
Yep.
So there's like a lot going on. A lot does happen in this episode. So, okay, I was talking about Joey. Her dad's in prison for trafficking in excess of 10,000 pounds of marijuana.
That's a lot of weed.
That's so much weed. Also, I love that it's weed. Like,
mm-hmm.
Like, at least if it was cocaine, I'm just like, weed?
You know?
In Massachusetts? Like,
there are so many people in prison for weed offenses.
We
don't want anyone to have any fun in this country.
I was going to make a really off-color joke about how Mr. Potter is white, though.
Yeah.
It's very weird. The whole thing is very weird. He does come around later, Mr. Potter.
Okay.
He like comes back, but it's like, the whole thing is very just like Joey's from the wrong side of the tracks. The wrong side of the creek, if you will.
I guess.
Yeah. They end up going on a date to the movies to see Waiting for Guffman. Isn't that rated R?
I don't know.
I just feel like, who are these 15-year-olds?
I don't know. And everyone is having full conversations when this movie has started at full volume.
Yeah.
And finally, a guy tells Pacey, and I can't say her name like that, Tamara, because it sounds like an old prospector saying tomorrow.
Oh, you can say Tamara.
I prefer Tamara,
Yeah,
and
fine.
so it like annoys me that it's like tomorrow.
That is how they pronounce it.
I hate it.
I don't think he starts calling her Tammy.
Oh.
I think her date called her Tammy.
Oh, and she called him Benji.
Yeah. Because she went there on a date with an appropriately aged man and then again had the absolute nerve to be like, Pacey, I think you got the wrong idea. And then she friggin' kissed him on the pier after the adult man hit him in the face.
I hate it. It's so weird.
Okay, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you hate it compared to when Joey asked Dawson how often he masturbated? And then he wouldn't answer her, and then as she was like leaving, he shouted out the window that he usually masturbates in the morning to Katie Couric, who does the same job as his mom.
And Joey, it was like a flourish of music, and she's like, like smiling, like,
yeah,
this guy, oh, he did it. And it's like, this is so weird. It's so weird. And then what I love too, the way they film this, because that's when we see Gail kissing Bob, and it's just Joey's like slowly just floating backwards
down the creek,
and she's just going. Like that's how I want to leave
Pikachu.
That's how I want to leave a room from now on.
Yeah.
I just like slowly float out.
Oh God. I think the only other real thing, Dawson couldn't get in the film class at the high school because he's only a sophomore.
And then he tried to argue his way in, and it didn't work.
It didn't work.
And it's just, that's not how high school works.
No. It's ridiculous.
The only thing I can think of that would be similar is my senior year. We basically had to like make up theater 4 because there wasn't like a theater 4. And so I just was in a class with like theater 3s, but I got like more advanced work.
Sure. Because
it's technically a more like advanced class.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't, I don't know. No one had to be like, I want to read what she's reading.
Yeah.
And then my teacher wasn't going to be like, no, you're not in theater 4. She'd be like, okay. And she would just hand it over.
Well, it's also just like, I think what drives me kind of nuts is that like very specifically, he's like, I'm going to be a filmmaker. Who else in your class can say that? And I'm just like, it's not about that. You don't need to take high school film class to be a filmmaker.
Right.
Just be a filmmaker.
Do you know for how long I was like, I'm going to be an actress, and I believed that with every fiber of my being, and I was doing everything I could to do that. And then the world said, that's adorable. No.
How about no?
How about we do something different?
So that's just the kind of thing where it's like this delusion of his youth. That
we all have.
I'm going to be the next Steven Spielberg. And it's like,
do you know how many other people say that?
But also
are from small towns too. Yeah. LA is full of them.
100%. And the thing for me is I'm just like, why don't you like take this film class next year? Why do you have to take it as a sophomore? Take it next year. Keep watching movies. He's got a camera. He is making
a rig.
He's making like a Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Remake. Great. Good for you. I love that. Or Creature from the Black Lagoon or whatever. But like, just take this class next year, get into NYU film school or UCLA or something. It's just like, it's not, you're making it harder than it is.
Right. And so now the teacher is it could blackball you because he even said there's a waiting list for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, so you now, because you've pushed too hard, who's to say that you messed yourself up?
Yeah.
You know, and you're definitely not going to get in now because he thinks that you're a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
And then he's going to block you. And then what are you going to do?
So I'm going to hurt your feelings real bad.
Why?
He gets in this film class.
I know. Of course he's going to. We have to see him achieve his dream.
No, because it's the thing where it's like, it's sort of the Gossip Girl conundrum where like he has been told he's special forever by everybody. And so he like truly believes it. And he's just like not really special, but he gets everything he like wants, like that he asks for.
Oh, a white guy.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible.
So so just the mediocre white man.
Yeah.
Love it.
But meanwhile, Joey has to like literally scrape her way to college. It's insane. It's like ridiculous. But yeah, I think that is.
I mean, it's familiar.
It's so familiar.
I mean,
also, I did say what in our watch along that Joey is like a feral forest baby because she's like leaving for the movie date and Bessie has like grabs her by the chin and she's almost like
well, and like
to put lipstick on her.
When she put the lipstick on, she had her lips smushed together, and then I was like, that's going to look horrible. And then she releases it, and it looks horrible.
Well, she like made her smush it around.
Well, they fixed it,
and then the
because
makeup
when
artist
yes,
of course,
because it was like all out here, all up there, and I'm like, stop it.
Oh God.
And then when Dawson was like, I saw you with that lips, everyone was like so just like crazy about the fact that Joey had this lipstick on.
She's a tomboy.
But it's just like Dawson said, oh, I had the thought, Joey looks nice in that lipstick, and then I didn't think anything else about you. It's just like, okay.
I did. So it is horrible, and it's like very on the nose and like obvious what Joey is doing. But all of the things she says to Jen, to me, are so clever for a 15-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Where she's like, oh, I love your lipstick. What's it called? And she's like, I love your hair color. What number is it? I think that's fucking hilarious.
It is funny.
I wouldn't be able to come up with that when I was 15.
No.
It's so funny.
Yeah, and then I would like, if I had, I would hold on to it forever and put it in a little mental pocket and be like, I'm a funny person.
Yep.
Look at me.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it on camera.
That's the $300 level on Patreon where we'll talk about that stuff.
Sure, yeah. It's like one of the proudest I've ever been for saying something so mean.
Oh boy.
Oh God. All right. So that's pretty much it. We are gonna go watch episode 2 and we'll be back.
Yeah, and you guys should definitely watch it with us on
Yeah.
Patreon. I did a lot of screaming in episode 1.
Yes,
so.
I'm sure it will continue also. And if you are watching it along with us, I am fast forwarding through the song because it is not Paula Cole's I Don't Want to Wait. It is some absurd, horrible song, and I refuse to listen to it. Yeah. Although I might make you listen to it once.
The horrible song?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Just so that you experience it.
Okay.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Let us know what you think. Like and subscribe. No, you're good. Bye.
Oh, man.